More than 2,000 years ago, the Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu composed a work whose influence would extend far beyond the battlefield. The Art of War is not simply a book about conflict. It is a study of leadership, preparation, discipline, deception, and human nature. Its central lesson is timeless. The greatest victory is achieved not through brute force, but through wisdom. What follows is a condensed adaptation of Sun Tzu's 13 chapters. Chapter 1. Laying Plans. Sun Tzu said, "The art of war is of vital importance to the state. It is a matter of life and death, a road either to safety or to ruin. It is therefore a subject that cannot be neglected. War is governed by 5 constant factors: moral influence, heaven, earth, the commander, and method and discipline. Moral influence causes people to remain united with their leader, following without fear of danger. Heaven represents night and day, cold and heat, times and seasons. Earth includes distance, danger, security, open ground, narrow passages, and the chances of survival or destruction. The commander must possess wisdom, sincerity, benevolence, courage, and strictness. Method and discipline concern the proper organization of the army, the ranking of officers, the maintenance of supply routes, and the control of expenditure. Every commander should understand these 5 factors. The one who understands them will be victorious. The one who does not will fail. When comparing opposing forces, ask, which leader has the support of the people? Which commander has greater ability? Which side possesses the advantages of heaven and earth? Where is discipline most strongly enforced? Which army is stronger? Which soldiers are better trained? Which side is more consistent in reward and punishment? Through these considerations, victory and defeat can be predicted. Plans must also change according to circumstances. No strategy can remain fixed when conditions have changed. All warfare is based on deception. When capable of attacking, appear incapable. When active, appear inactive. When near, make the enemy believe you are far away. When far away, make the enemy believe you are near. Offer bait to draw the enemy forward. Pretend to be disorganized, and then strike. If the enemy is strong, avoid him. If he is easily angered, provoke him. If he is comfortable, give him no rest. If his forces are united, divide them. Attack where he is unprepared. Appear where you are not expected. The victorious commander makes many calculations before the battle begins. The defeated commander makes few. Careful preparation leads to victory. A lack of preparation leads to defeat. Chapter 2. Waging War. When war begins, the cost rises quickly. Weapons are worn down. Supplies are consumed. Soldiers become exhausted. Families and communities suffer. If a campaign continues for too long, even a powerful nation may become weak. No country has ever benefited from prolonged warfare. A wise commander seeks a swift and decisive result. He understands the dangers of delay and does not keep his forces in the field longer than necessary. Bring essential equipment from home, but when possible, obtain supplies from the enemy. A single load taken from the opponent may be worth many loads transported across great distances. Treat captured soldiers with kindness. Care for them and allow them to become part of your own strength. The objective of war is victory, not the endless continuation of conflict. The commander who understands the true cost of war becomes the guardian of the people and the protector of the state. Chapter 3. Attack by strategy. The highest form of victory is to preserve rather than destroy. It is better to capture an enemy's nation intact than to ruin it. It is better to take an army whole than to annihilate it. The greatest excellence is not winning every battle. The greatest excellence is defeating resistance without fighting. The best strategy is to attack the enemy's plans. The next best strategy is to prevent his forces from joining together. After that comes attacking his army in the field. The least desirable option is to attack a fortified city. A siege should be attempted only when no alternative exists, because it consumes time, resources, and lives. A skilled leader subdues the enemy without battle. He captures cities without laying siege to them, and overthrows kingdoms without conducting long campaigns. If your forces greatly outnumber the enemy, surround him. If they are several times stronger, attack. If the forces are equal, engage only when conditions are favorable. If you are weaker, avoid a direct confrontation. If you are greatly outmatched, withdraw. There are 5 essentials for victory. The victorious leader knows when to fight and when not to fight. He knows how to manage both large and small forces. He creates unity throughout every level of command. He is prepared and waits for the enemy to become unprepared. And he is not undermined by interference from those who do not understand conditions in the field. Know the enemy and know yourself, and you need not fear the result of 100 battles. Know yourself but not the enemy, and every victory will be followed by a defeat. Know neither the enemy nor yourself, and you will be defeated in every battle. Chapter 4. Tactical Dispositions. The skilled fighters of the past first made themselves impossible to defeat. Then they waited for an opportunity to defeat the enemy. Security against defeat lies within our own control. The opportunity to defeat the enemy is often provided by the enemy himself. A wise commander can protect his forces from defeat, but he cannot force the enemy to expose a weakness. Therefore, one may know how to win without being able to win immediately. When victory is not yet possible, defend. When victory becomes possible, attack. A successful commander does not seek admiration for obvious victories. He wins because he makes no mistakes. He places his army in a position where defeat is unlikely, and he does not miss the moment when the enemy becomes vulnerable. The victorious army wins first and then goes to battle. The defeated army goes to battle first and then attempts to find victory. Good leadership requires moral authority, discipline, careful measurement, accurate calculation, and a clear comparison of strength. When these elements are properly understood, victory becomes the natural result of preparation. Chapter 5. Energy. Managing a large army follows the same principles as managing a small one. The difference lies in organization. Controlling many soldiers requires dividing them into properly ordered groups. Directing them requires clear signals and reliable communication. In battle, use both direct and indirect methods. Direct action may begin the engagement, but indirect action produces victory. The possible combinations of these methods are endless. They move in cycles, like the sun and moon, and renew themselves like the changing seasons. The skilled commander creates momentum. A rushing stream can carry stones because of the power of its movement. A bird of prey can strike with devastating force because it chooses the perfect moment. In the same way, the wise commander combines stored energy with precise timing. He does not demand extraordinary strength from every individual. Instead, he places each person where their ability can be used effectively. When momentum is properly created, even ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary things. Apparent disorder may conceal discipline. Apparent fear may conceal courage. Apparent weakness may conceal strength. Order and disorder depend on organization. Courage and fear depend on circumstances. Strength and weakness depend on positioning. The skilled commander shapes the situation so that the enemy moves according to his will. Chapter 6. Weak points and strong. Whoever arrives first at the battlefield and waits will be prepared. Whoever arrives later and rushes into battle will be exhausted. A skilled commander imposes his will on the enemy and does not allow the enemy to impose his will upon him. Offer something the enemy desires, and he will approach. Threaten something he values, and he will be forced to respond. If the enemy is resting, disturb him. If he has abundant supplies, cut them off. If he is settled, force him to move. Appear at places he must defend. Move swiftly toward places where you are not expected. You can travel great distances without difficulty when you move through territory where there is no opposition. You can be certain of success when you attack what is poorly defended. You can be certain of security when you defend a position the enemy cannot effectively attack. If the enemy does not know where you intend to strike, he must prepare everywhere. When he prepares everywhere, he will be weak everywhere. Force the enemy to reveal his position while remaining hidden yourself. Concentrate your forces while compelling him to divide his. Even if the enemy is large, prevent him from using his full strength against you. Military tactics are like water. Water avoids high ground and flows toward low ground. An army should avoid strength and strike weakness. Water changes its course according to the shape of the land. A commander must change his methods according to the enemy and the circumstances. There are no permanent tactics, just as there are no permanent seasons. The leader who can adapt and achieve victory deserves to be called truly skilled. Chapter 7. Maneuvering. Nothing is more difficult than tactical maneuvering. The challenge is to transform a long and indirect route into the shortest path to success. It is to turn disadvantage into advantage. Movement without preparation is dangerous. An army traveling without supplies, equipment, or reliable information cannot survive. Do not form alliances until you understand the intentions of neighboring powers. Do not enter unfamiliar territory without guides. Use deception and move only when there is a clear advantage. When concentrating your forces, move like the wind. When holding your position, be silent like the forest. When attacking, strike like fire. When defending, remain immovable like a mountain. Let your plans be as difficult to understand as the darkness of night. When you act, strike like a thunderbolt. An entire army may lose its courage, and a commander may lose his presence of mind. The spirit of soldiers is strongest in the morning. It may weaken by afternoon and turn toward thoughts of home by evening. Avoid an enemy when his spirit is strong. Strike when he becomes tired or uncertain. This is the art of studying morale. Do not attack an army advancing uphill. Do not pursue an enemy pretending to retreat. Do not swallow bait offered by an opponent. Do not obstruct an army returning home without leaving it a path of escape. Surrounded soldiers may fight with the courage of desperation. When surrounding an enemy, leave an opening. Do not press a desperate opponent too hard. Chapter 8. Variation in Tactics. A commander must understand both advantage and disadvantage. When considering an advantage, examine the dangers hidden within it. When facing a disadvantage, search for the opportunity concealed inside it. There are roads that should not be followed, armies that should not be attacked, cities that should not be besieged, positions that should not be contested, and commands that should not be obeyed when they would bring certain disaster. A commander who understands variation knows how to use his forces. One who does not understand it may know the terrain and still fail to gain an advantage. Do not depend on the enemy's failure to arrive. Depend upon your own readiness to meet him. Do not depend upon the enemy's decision not to attack. Depend upon making your own position impossible to attack successfully. 5 dangerous faults may destroy a leader. Recklessness leads to destruction. Cowardice leads to capture. A quick temper can be provoked. Excessive concern for honor creates sensitivity to insult. Excessive concern for the troops may create hesitation and disorder. These faults arise from a commander's character. In war, they can bring ruin to an entire army. Chapter 9. The Army on the March. When moving through difficult country, remain close to secure ground and pay careful attention to the terrain. Cross rivers quickly and do not confront an enemy while your forces are divided by water. Avoid remaining near swamps, steep cliffs, narrow valleys, tangled forests, and other places where an ambush may be concealed. Observe the enemy carefully. When trees move without wind, soldiers may be advancing through them. When birds suddenly rise, an ambush may be nearby. When animals are startled, a hidden attack may be approaching. Dust rising in a high column may indicate chariots. Dust spreading low and wide may indicate infantry. Small clouds of dust in several places may mean the enemy is gathering firewood. Dust moving back and forth may indicate that a camp is being formed. Humble words accompanied by increased preparation may signal an approaching attack. Violent language and aggressive movement may conceal an intention to retreat. Peace proposals made without a sincere agreement may be part of a conspiracy. Punish soldiers before they have become loyal, and they may become disobedient. Allow disobedience after loyalty has formed, and they may become useless. Treat soldiers with humanity, but maintain discipline. When orders are consistently enforced, the army will develop trust. When they are not, discipline will collapse. Chapter 10. Terrain. Terrain may be accessible, entangling, delaying, narrow, steep, or distant. On accessible ground, occupy high and sunny positions and protect your supply lines. On entangling ground, advance only if you can gain a decisive advantage. Otherwise, returning may become difficult. On delaying ground, do not move simply because the enemy offers bait. In narrow passages, occupy the position first and defend it strongly. If the enemy has already occupied it, do not follow unless his defenses are weak. On steep ground, take the higher position and wait. When separated from the enemy by great distance, do not force a battle unless conditions are favorable. Some disasters are not caused by nature. They are caused by poor leadership. Soldiers may flee when they are sent against a much stronger enemy. They may become disobedient when they are powerful, but their officers are weak. They may collapse when officers are strong, but soldiers are poorly trained. The army may become disorganized when commands are unclear. Treat your soldiers as beloved children, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. Regard them with affection, and they will stand beside you even in the face of death. But kindness without authority creates disorder. Generosity without discipline produces soldiers who cannot be controlled. Know the enemy, know yourself, and understand the terrain. Then victory will not be in doubt. Chapter 11. The 9 situations. Different situations require different responses. On ground within your own territory, keep the army united. On ground only slightly inside enemy territory, do not allow your forces to become separated. On ground offering advantages to either side, move with caution. On open ground, maintain strong communication. At the meeting point of several states, strengthen alliances. Deep inside enemy territory, ensure a continuous supply of provisions. In difficult country, continue moving. On enclosed ground, use strategy. On desperate ground, fight. When soldiers have no path of escape, they will stand firm. When they are surrounded, they will resist. When danger is unavoidable, they will obey. Place your soldiers in a position where they must act together, but do not expose them needlessly. A skilled commander behaves like a serpent that responds with its entire body. Strike its head, and its tail attacks. Strike its tail, and its head responds. Strike its center, and both ends move. Speed is essential. Take advantage of the enemy's unreadiness. Travel by unexpected routes, and strike where no precautions have been taken. At first, appear reserved and harmless. Then, when the opportunity opens, move rapidly and decisively. Chapter 12. Attack by fire. There are several ways to attack with fire. Burn soldiers in their camp, burn supplies, burn equipment, burn storage areas, or spread confusion through the enemy's lines. But fire must be used only under suitable conditions. The weather must be dry, and the wind must be understood. When fire breaks out inside the enemy's camp, prepare to attack from outside. But if the enemy remains calm, wait and observe. Do not move unless there is a real advantage. Do not use soldiers unless there is something to gain. Do not fight unless the situation is critical. A ruler should not begin war because of anger. A commander should not fight because of resentment. Anger may later turn to happiness. Resentment may later give way to contentment. But a nation that has been destroyed cannot be restored, and the dead cannot be brought back to life. The enlightened ruler is cautious. The wise commander is watchful. This is the way to preserve peace and protect an army. Chapter 13. The use of spies. An army may remain in the field for years, while the outcome is decided in a single day. To refuse to spend resources on accurate information while spending vast wealth on war is the height of foolishness. Knowledge of the enemy cannot be obtained from spirits, superstition, or guesswork. It must come from people who understand the enemy's true condition. Information is among the most powerful weapons a commander possesses. There are different kinds of spies. Local spies drawn from the region, internal spies found among enemy officials, converted spies taken from the enemy and persuaded to cooperate, doomed spies who are intentionally given false information, and surviving spies who return with direct reports. Converted spies are especially valuable because they can help recruit and manage the others. Treat spies with generosity and absolute secrecy. Their work requires intelligence, compassion, and careful judgment. Verify every report. Compare sources. Never act on information merely because it confirms what you already wish to believe. Accurate knowledge makes it possible to understand the enemy's plans, disrupt alliances, avoid traps, and strike at the correct moment. The wise ruler and successful commander achieve extraordinary results because they possess foreknowledge. This knowledge allows them to succeed where others fail. Conclusion. Narrator: The deepest lesson of the art of war is that wisdom must come before action. Sun Tzu does not glorify violence. He warns repeatedly against unnecessary conflict, prolonged campaigns, emotional decisions, and careless leadership. The ideal commander prepares so thoroughly that defeat becomes unlikely. He studies himself, his opponent, the terrain, the timing, and the cost. He remains calm when others become angry. He adapts when circumstances change. He creates unity, protects his people, and acts only when action is necessary. Strength alone does not guarantee victory. Numbers do not guarantee victory. Courage without judgment may lead to destruction, while caution without action may surrender an opportunity. True strategy lies in balance. Know when to advance and when to withdraw. Know when to reveal strength and when to conceal it. Know when to confront resistance and when to overcome it without fighting. The greatest victory is not the battle that receives the most praise. It is the conflict resolved with the least destruction. Know the enemy. Know yourself. Understand the conditions around you. Prepare before you act. And when the decisive moment arrives, move with clarity, discipline, and purpose.